didn't want him to die for him. This is the one we know. He's getting a major target all the time. Oh man. Ooh, this is so cool.
You, Ivar, son of Ragnar Lothbrok, and many there are that fear you.
It's like he's fighting through every fucking Viking. Oh, this is so cool. It looks amazing.
One day, everyone will know of Ivar the Boundless.
You got him? Oh boy.
Don't be afraid. I'll never forget. I was powerless.
Knowing it was gonna happen, because obviously that to hand somehow doesn't make it easier. It would probably look like a mess.
No. Valhalla is not for you, my friend. Let me put you out of your misery.
He would have definitely screamed.
You understand that when we said you were welcome to this place, we did not mean you were welcome to possess it.
a beauty in how different the cultures are, how different the rituals, how different people are.
I wish I had something important to leave on your grave, but I sold my arm ring to a drug dealer. You saved my life so many times. And one day when we'll meet again, I can thank you. So enjoy Valhalla, brother, while it still exists. We can all see the sky darkening. We can all see the twilight of the gods. And I trust to be with you in that great defeat. So, hail and farewell, my brother.
I almost forgot
come from
this was
England?
happening.
What news?
Our army was defeated with great loss.
Yeah.
King Harold was slain in the battle. And also Ivar the Boneless.
Ivar.
Oh, you're free to govern now.
And Hvitserk?
He's gonna help to create a place where he's gonna can live together. Did he say like he wanted to live a simple life? Yeah. He's gonna settle. Jesus.
I renounce the worship of Odin,
Literally.
Thor, Freya, and all other
Hvitserk?
false gods.
Death has undone so many. And Harold Finehair, and Ivar, son of Ragnar. The gods have been greedy to have the company of such great men.
I renounce my former life.
Oh my god.
Father, I ask for baptism.
After 6 seasons, he's the first one to gladly accept to change his faith. Well, to do it, yeah. He is kind of taking the path his father took before him.
Welcome to our holy church. You entered here as a pagan, and you will leave here as a Christian Saxon prince.
Oh my god.
As your godfather, I've chosen a new name for you. From now on, you'll be known as Athelstan,
Oh boy.
our brother in Christ.
Full circle.
The king of Kattegat is dead. Long live the queen.
I'm not happy about that, queen. But their struggle, their fights are gonna keep going. She's happy. So a son of Ragnar has converted to Christianism and been given the name of Athelstan. Yep. Woof. And he is a Saxon prince now. We have gone a long way. And now he looks like his father. I think he's happy. It says the new chapter for him.
Do you have any advice, Floki? Are the gods here? Have you seen them? Don't bother me with that. What business is that of mine? I am an ant, toiling on the forest floor. I see only the leaf above my head. That leaf brings me some relief from the sun. Are you happy? There's still so many things that I need to know. You don't need to know anything. It's not important. Let the past go. Do you remember Ragnar? Of course I do.
It's hard to forget.
It disturbs my nights.
keeps asking me to build him a new boat. And I say, what the hell do you need a new boat for, Ragnar? You're dead.
You look like him.
All his sons
does.
do.
Yeah.
Is that the end?
Are you gonna get an answer? And the show ends?
With this,
Oh my god. And the opening.
yeah. It's a good ending, but I can see how you can easily make a sequel with that ending, you know?
Yeah, you didn't answer.
Because it's technically never over, you know?
You didn't answer!
It is not the end because they're making Valhalla.
Yeah, but it's the end of their story.
I know. Damn.
I have a tendency to cry at the end of great shows that I've enjoyed, so there you go.
Well, we kind of saw those characters from when they were born to their death.
Yeah,
We technically, if we remember,
I remember. I remember. Give me a sec. Talk.
you're gonna make me cry. Damn it. I want to point out
I'm not
first of
sad.
all the great acting skills from Alex, Marco, and everybody
Everyone.
else on the set. Seriously,
Everybody else on this show. That's a Vikings had its flaws, but the acting wasn't one of them. The music wasn't one of them. The fight scenes, the visuals.
I think that the final fight scene when Ivar was literally fighting through his people like they were one is probably one of my favorite.
It was meant to be amazing, and it looked great. All the slow motions, and to me, I don't think I'm ready to talk about Ivar. To me, what got to me? Oh Jesus, fuck! I didn't think I was gonna cry that much. Like I thought the Ivar thing was over, and we were moving on. I wasn't crying anymore. Huh? Jesus, I knew I was gonna cry, but like, fuck. Okay, keep it together, warrior. Is my makeup like running everywhere?
Nope.
At least.
No, you're still good.
Okay. What got to me the most with Ivar's death, I feel like it's the reason behind it. Why and how he did it. Because he stayed behind knowing, his body was weak in that moment. He looked at his forces and he saw, they thought they had an advantage, but then they lost a lot of people last episode, and Harold was dead, and I think he did not expect, I think Alfred nailed it when he said, you're asking for peace now, probably because you want to retreat, and you're thinking of coming back, and that's the thing, maybe he wanted to retreat and he was, talking peace, but who's to say he wouldn't come back with a bigger army? There's no trusting him considering the reason that brought him here. So, I feel like he stayed behind because, he got prophesized that he was going to die. And he didn't want to die. Like he did say it, he was afraid of death. He thought he had not done everything he could have done.
There's also the fact that in every single battlefield, he technically always stay behind because he cannot run if he has to.
But we were far from the Ivar.
The only time that he went into the battlefield was when he has his car with the horse.
Was it in York? It was
in
in York, right?
It was in York. Yeah.
But we were far from the Ivar who did his speech in York, who faced death.
He did it,
but not at first. When he stayed behind, we were far from the Ivar in York who did not give a shit about death because he thought of himself as a god. He thought of himself as favored by the gods. He thought that his gods were behind him. But then he got prophesized his death. He was afraid of, leaving behind a testament to who he was. And his body was weak. So he stayed behind in fear, which is very anti-Ivar. he saw that they were about to lose, and then he saw his brother, and then the flashbacks, I don't think they are they're not a coincidence that those flashbacks came. You know, we could have put any flashbacks, but those were the ones they went with, because I feel like Hvitserk has always been, you know, torn apart between have I made the right decision with following Ivar, or should have I stayed with Ubbe?
Yeah.
If he had stayed with Ubbe, he would be in America. It would be very different for him. But he chose to stay with Ivar, and Ivar kept him close, and he had him fight his battles, and now he was fighting a losing battle, losing for him, for his brother, because it was Ivar's idea. He was gonna die out there. So Ivar chose, and that's how I read it, and that's why I think it's so intense the way he died. Ivar was always been, you know, acting selfish, sort of, even though he cared about his brother. Literally faced death and faced his fear, faced destiny, knowing he was gonna die, to save Hvitserk, who was fighting for him. He basically let him go. He set him free from his hold he had on him. Even though, like, we can argue they loved each other, and yes, they did, and they cared and stuff, Hvitserk was always torn apart by his choice. I'm gonna make you cry. Anyway, Hvitserk has always been torn apart between Ubbe and Ivar and the choice he made. And I feel like doing this, Ivar basically set him on his path and was like, you know what? You do you, man. You don't have to follow me anymore. I'm dying today. And then, once he made that decision, he decided to go as Ivar, the guy we needed to remember.
Yeah.
He was afraid. Like, he said it. I'm gonna make you cry and you're gonna make me cry. I think it was intense. He basically reminded everyone on that battlefield why he was such an important character, why he was such an important man. He fought for them, he fought with them, he kind of reignited what makes them Vikings. He did that in Kattegat, but he did that on the battlefield too, because they were losing, and he basically gave courage to everyone, and he fought through them because his body would not allow it. He did not die with a smile, but he died in his brother's arms. He did say he was afraid, but it's a good thing that he wasn't alone when it happened, you know?
You know what? Technically, we always said that Ivar as a character didn't want to be seen as vulnerable with the people that he cared about, like his father or his brother. He needed to look strong because he wanted to be seen as equal as them, and he was always vulnerable when he was alone.
Yeah.
Remember what after his mother died, he was on the hill and he was alone, and he just cried and screamed.
Yeah, he could allow himself to be vulnerable.
Yeah, but never in front of his brothers, never, because for him that was short of weakness.
Yeah.
But at that moment, he allowed himself to express what he felt, what he was scared of.
Yeah, I feel like, you know what that helped, what that did?
To be the little brother with his big brother.
Well, like, when he was, you know, his eyes were super blue, by the way. When he was...
His eyes was super huge,
yeah, like,
too.
everything was blue. But, kind of like, you know, when he was vulnerable as a kid and they had to take care of him, that was the same thing. What that scene did to me, you know, after the huge show of strength and courage that literally had Alfred behind him be like, fuck, this guy is a legend. Like, he respects him. And that's why when he died, he was like, stop fighting. Like, the war is over. The guy that is important on this battlefield has died. Now we pay him respect and we send him away. I like that. And then in that moment, we got reminded that, yes, he is a warrior. Yes, he's a legend. Yes, he's everything. But at the root of it all, he's human. So.
I want to ask something, though. Because compared to Bjorn's death, while his dying body inspired his people to stay strong against the Rush army.
I think,
and compared to Ivar's last moment.
Which was, what, more epic? More sad?
Maybe more epic, but...
Bjorn's was more epic.
I think that both of them are kind of similar, but totally different in their own ways.
Yes, I think that Bjorn had achieved the goal of becoming a legend a long time ago. He was a legend, and his death was about reminding the people that pitied him of who he was. I don't think anyone forgot who Ivar was. He's always been a beast. And I think it's the contrary with Ivar. I think because of the connection with Hvitserk, because of what he said when he was dying, you know, him crying, him saying he was afraid, him, you know, being in his brother's arms and stuff. Bjorn's death was about him being a legend. Ivar's death was about him being human. We needed the human. We needed the brother. We needed the boy that always felt weak and still overcame the obstacles during Ivar's death, because we were so used to seeing the legend. Whereas
You know,
Bjorn was a legend that people tended to forget about, because, and I think, you know, we cannot help but feel like Bjorn's death was more epic because honestly he's been there since episode 1 of season 1. Not the actor, but the character.
yeah.
The way he died was a lot more epic, but Ivar's death is just as strong. It's just that the message during his death is different, but it works for his character. The only thing I have to say though is that I feel like maybe the way they played Bjorn's death was more emotional with how when it happened in the episode, it happened at the end, you know, so we basically had the music, which was intense and stuff, whereas with Ivar, right after his death, we went back to America to see a blood eagle that did not happen, you know.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing, but it's because I get it. He died in the last episode, and then we still had a few things to settle, so it couldn't be as epic. But I cried. I was emotional, and like I said, I feel like Ivar's death was both epic in the beginning, but the second part was more emotional because we needed to see the human behind it, the one that suffered from his body, his weak body, the one that was afraid of being alone, the one that did not want to lose his brothers and got to die in his brother's arms, which was a thing that he probably feared he was never going to have, because for so long he feared, you know, his brothers were going to leave him behind. Most of them did. So yeah, most of them did because of some stuff he did, but let's be real.
But we do know that, yes, Ivar was a piece of shit most of the time. We do know that
It was his defense mechanism.
He was scared of showing vulnerability because he thought that that was the only way for him to be seen as strong, just like his brother and other Vikings, to be seen also maybe as a man with the word a woman.
Well, that's the thing. Like, Bjorn had faced so many losses before his death. He needed a win. He needed a moment where we would all go, fuck, okay, Bjorn is the man, you know? But Ivar has been, he's lost a few times in the past few seasons, but usually he wins during a battle. Like, he won with the Russ. He won, you know, well, he didn't win against Bjorn, but he personally won against the Russ after, when he escaped. And he won Kattegat. He went back to Kattegat and he won the people over there.
I think that what he needed at the end of his story is just to found himself back, you know, because just like when he won the battle in from York in season 4, I think.
Yeah.
Season 4, he went back to Kattegat. He fought Lagertha, and then he became king / god / burning people on the side kind of guy, you know. So he lost himself.
But we found him back with the Rust, though, with Igor. I thought that, you know, the Ivar that we knew slowly came back through his chapter with the Rust.
But he found himself back, but I don't think that he found the Viking in himself.
He was
back.
Well, it's true that that's why they went to England, because when he went back to Kattegat, he was like, I mean, he was more humble, but he had lost his spark that made him a Viking. And that's why he was saying, you know, we have all lost the spark that made us Vikings. So let's remember, you know, why we are who we are, what we do. So that's why they came to England. And in the end, like, it's nice that we got to have, you know, the Ivar from York back. You know, the one that basically claims, like, he's putting a target on his back, literally. And he's being like, you know what? I am Ivar the Boneless. You fear me. Let's go. But he accepted death, though. That's the thing. He's always been afraid of dying and not leave anything behind. But then the guy faced him, terrified as shit, with a small knife. He could probably have parried like that. And he let him do it.
Yep.
He chose how he was going to go.
Go ahead.
He did that for the right reasons. His death is about his personal journey as a man. And as a legend, I think he cemented his future, and Hvitserk made sure of that. Like he did say the
He
speech.
made sure that people will remember his name
Definitely.
and said his name over time.
Yeah. So
when
as
that,
epic as
that
Björn,
was done,
no.
he just said, "Come, go ahead."
Yeah. So as epic as Björn, no. Just perfect for Ivar, yes. You know, different message, but it works.
Yeah.
And even though, like, it's interesting the way they ended the show, you know, but we end with Floki, which, you know, he's the only one left from season 1. We end with Ubbe, who's the one who finally managed to, you know, find, maybe not, well, peace, sort of. Like, he made a decision to do the right thing when faced with, once again, a dilemma. Do I kill one of my people, or do I follow what they would, you know, or what do I follow, you know, what the Vikings would do and settle by force and stuff. Like he made a decision to basically adapt and try to find peace. And he's with Floki, who's definitely found peace. Mm-hmm. We have this great conversation about gods, and Floki basically saying he's gave up on all the gods. He doesn't care about gods anymore. He's only going to care about the present.
He's old. Doesn't have time to worry about that shit.
Yeah, apparently. But I feel like it's interesting because he was you know, the one of the most religious Vikings out there in season 1, and everything he did was for the gods, and then he lost himself and he tried to find which god was the best, and in the end he basically decided that no god maybe is the best. Not to say that, you know, you shouldn't believe in any gods, but I think that the message behind that is that to base all your decisions on gods that you can't reach, gods you can talk to, gods that don't answer, to start wars over this, to refuse the hospitality of people, or to refuse to give hospitality to people because of different religions, because of different beliefs, only leads to war, death, and misery.
Yeah.
Whereas when you just accept that you're living, the sun rose this morning, the sun is shining, you've got food, you've got water, you're happy.
You
Sometimes
don't need
that's
to,
it.
like you said, you don't need to know everything. You don't need to own everything.
Yeah. And that's why I was saying in the episode that Floki kind of, when he was doing his speech about what made him sad and what happened to him, kind of reminded me of, you know, the struggle that Ragnar, Lagertha, Björn, everyone in the show had at one point. What makes you happy? What is happiness? How do you find happiness? And we know that Ragnar found it too late. Lagertha found it too late. Björn found it too late. It was all about, you know, at first...
I don't think that Björn found it at all.
Well, I think he kind of knew what to do, but he wasn't in a position to get it at the end, you know? It was too late for him too.
Yeah.
In any case, they all kept wondering, what do the gods have in store for me? What should I do? What's my faith? Ragnar struggled with, you know, my gods are not answering me, so maybe your god, the Christian god, could answer me. Athelstan was there to, you know, maybe teach him about this. He was struggling. He didn't know. He tried to follow a destiny that at first, yeah, he was just curious about new stuff, and then his faith led him places, and he died thinking that if he had just stayed a farmer on his land and just been happy with what he had, he would probably be fine. You know, his life would be great. And Floki found that, and I think he understood that, and that's why he's just like, you know what? Fuck the gods. I don't need to care about what they want from me. Like, they'll do their stuff if they exist, and I'll do my thing. I'll do my thing and be happy. Yeah. I think it's the message, because like we said it in the episode too, but if, you know, Ubbe had not decided to settle things and be like, okay, fine, he killed one of your own, we'll judge him and punish him. If he had not done that, he would be in the same situation as Ivar, Alfred, and Hvitserk, fighting over, you know, whose beliefs is the right one, and fighting over who should settle where, and who's the right one, you know, who's right, who's wrong, stuff like that. And it's a never-ending cycle.
Yeah.
Which is why I think it's really poetic that Hvitserk at the end, who I've never seen as a Christian before, chose to
be fair,
convert.
Ever since that he decided to stay with Ivar, and after everything that happened, the fact that he lost the woman that he loved, that he lost his Ubbe's affection, or Björn's affection, he tried to find himself via Buddha,
Yes.
Yeah, maybe drugs, maybe, who
Yes.
knows. And now I think he's gonna fund it through Christianity, because that's gonna be his new. Oh, you're such a whore. You're such a whore, baby.
He wants to carve his own path. He doesn't have to follow anyone anymore. It's only him. There's no one there to tell him he's right or wrong for doing this.
He's gonna be a Saxon prince.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing something, and just like, Ragnar also converted. Granted, it was to follow a plan, but I think in his heart, he didn't really care. He was like open to the idea, and he cared about Athelstan, and he cared about what he had to teach him, and he was fine with all this. And I think that
thought we also converted, but just to
they did it for a plan,
for the settlement. But
Yeah.
afterwards, they didn't really truly believe in it, so they went back to the.
Well, I think
Viking ways.
Ubbe couldn't find answers with his own god, so he turned to the Christian god. But then in the moment of great need, his gods are the ones that answered. So that's why he went back. But Hvitserk has always been lost. He never got an answer from anyone. I think he decided. They said it. The Vikings gods praise fighting and war and prove you that you're a great warrior.
Not
and,
all of them.
Well, no, but like this is the culture basically.
Yeah.
Whereas, well, it's not true either, but Alfred in the show was saying that the Christian God praises peace and stuff. I'm not saying because there's a lot of wars that were fought by the Christians, but anyway.
Well, technically, the word is to spread compassion.
Yeah, anyway, in any case, maybe that's why he decided, I'm in enemy territory. It'd be much easier to convert and, continue the dream that maybe my father had.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, like, it's not so much what the dream his father had, it's the dream that he's going to make for himself. He's going to find happiness through his own path, the way he wants, with no one to follow. Now he's alone. He does what he wants.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he smiles at the end. Because he's free. He's free of making his own choices, of making his own mistakes and stuff.
Bound to anyone. Maybe Ubbe, Bjorn, or even Ivar.
Yeah. So he found happiness. He became Christian. God.
I'd like to go back to some of the themes that we saw through the seasons. Like I said at the end that we finally got this brother love that we were looking for since season 1, because we got so many backstabbing between family members, brothers, husband and wives.
Yes, because it was all about who would carry Ragnar's legacy, who did it better, who was following the right path. And then this whole shit with Lagertha and Aslog was terrible too.
Not only that, just like in season 1 or 2 when Ragnar was against Rollo at the beginning.
Yes, that too.
Rollo betrayed him 3 times, I guess.
Yes, because
if not more.
Well, it's kind of similar though. Like the sons of Ragnar were fighting over who would carry Ragnar's legacy, whereas Rollo hated Ragnar because everything happened to him. Fame came to him, and Rollo had nothing.
He was living in the shadow of his younger brother.
Yeah, Rollo is basically Hvitserk.
Yep.
Sort of. It's just, and he found his happiness his own way. He converted to. There you go.
When you say it like that, yeah.
Yeah, but family was definitely at the center of what was going on in Vikings, and I think that's why it's so important that we got to have 2 brothers embracing one another at the end. Last episode, like, we needed the 2 brothers that, even though they stayed together, they never really settled the feud between them. Like, there was this time with the Rust where they fought, and there was the mention of, would you kill me and stuff like. And Ivor was saying, no one gets to kill you beside me. So for him,
then he said, "I will never kill you."
Yeah, I would never kill you. He settled the feud. That's the thing. It always stayed on the table. What do you think of me? Like, do you care? Am I just there as your tool? So for Ivar to say that to Hvitserk, it meant a lot. Like, he wasn't just a tool. He was his brother. He cared about him.
They've grown.
Yeah.
From the first time that we saw them until the end,
definitely.
they've grown, and they never went back to where they were at the beginning.
The kid who killed someone by accident with an axe.
Yeah.
And got told it was okay.
No, but I mean that there are some series that sometimes gonna lead characters through a journey, and at the end of it, they're gonna continue with that journey and follow through, or just go back to the beginning.
Some people don't go through journeys; they just stay where they were.
But I'm glad that they decided to go through with that journey with Ivar, that he grown as a character and decided to stay true. Like, he's still a Viking at the end, but he changed. Like, he's more at peace.
Who?
Ivar. Like, he used to have so much pent up anger at the beginning, so much resentment, so much pain inside of it, but at the end of it, just let it all out, and he was
Yeah.
at peace when he died. Like I said, well, he didn't die with a smile on his face on the battlefield, not at the end, but he did have a smile on his face. Right?
Well, he was a beast, I feel, on the battlefield at the end. He died crying and saying he was afraid, and then Hvitserk was saying,
yeah, but
it's gonna be fine.
He
but
still welcomed that with a smile, and
Yeah.
afterwards he's like, oh shit, I'm about to die.
he kind of did. Like, he was
Yeah.
like, just do it, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's gonna happen anyway, so might as well be you. Just someone random who
You're
was
gonna be
so
known
afraid.
as the one who killed Ivar the
They'll
Boneless.
forget him. They'll forget him.
Oh.
Probably Alfred would be remembered as the one who defeated Ivar. He's the king. He's the one that led the army.
Yeah.
In any case, it's the end of a journey. It's the end. I think the strength of Viking was its characters. So who's your favorite character? I think I can guess.
I might say that I have a soft spot for
Ivar.
Ivar because I really love just Alex so much
Yeah.
with his acting and what he does, and like I've seen so many interviews with him that it just, yeah, I am. But beside Ivar, I think that the OG character like Lagertha and Ragnar in the first seasons
Yeah.
were just so much
In the
fun.
main family, Ragnar was my favorite character. Then he died. No, but in the brothers, it's difficult. I do love me some Ivar too. I do love Ivar, but I think I loved him just as much as... it's hard to say. I was about to say Björn because Björn's death really stuck
But-
with me, and I love the actor.
It's
but-
different because for me, Bjorn, beside his death,
I loved
didn't
Björn
really
at the
stay
beginning.
the same throughout all of the seasons.
I'll say this. I loved Björn at the beginning. I started not liking his story when they had him go from woman to woman, and that was all that was happening with him,
Yeah.
you know? But in his death, I feel like he came, right back up. He got right back up. Like, I think I got a soft spot for him, even though his storyline made me a few times. And Hvitserk and Ubbe, I think I love them both equally. But Ragnar is my favorite character. I'll have to say, yeah,
To be
Ivar.
fair, regarding Ubbe, I think that his story is kind of forgettable if you think about it.
Except in the end, I think. Like, in the end, I do care about him. After he left for Iceland and then
Yeah,
America,
because
I
he's
did
got his
care
own
about
journey.
this.
Like, when he's with the brothers, it's kind of forgettable. But when he's on his own journey, yeah, you can remember him because he's
Yeah.
making choices. As for Hvitserk, yeah, he got this whole storyline about with the drugs.
I think I did not care
and
for
the
Hvitserk
misery,
till...
the pain.
I did not care for Hvitserk till the season last season, when he got the drug problem. When he started really losing himself, because that's when they had the actor, really do some great performances,
Marco?
and we got to care about him a lot. Not that I didn't give a shit about him before, but I think I started caring for him really that season. And of course, Lagertha is hard to forget too, but I think,
You can also forget a lot Sigurd. And some of you guys said that you were
Well, Sigurd has
pissed
been
because
gone for
in
a
real
while.
life, Sigurd was technically a king of Denmark. Is that
Well, there's
right?
a lot that's not accurate
There's
in
a
the
lot of
show,
stuff that was changed.
which is why we're so fucking
But
lost
it-
when we watch other shows.
But it is true that when you think about it, Sigurd got killed really
Early.
in the series, and we didn't see much of him before that. Like, we know that he was the only one who cared about Siggy, Bjorn's daughter.
Well, the little we saw of him, he was fighting Ivar. He was, pushing him down and insulting him.
Yeah, we didn't have much to like him besides.
Yeah, we didn't get the time to like him or get to know
And
him.
you know what's right? Like, I know that he's a musician. That
Yeah.
he liked to enjoy life basically.
Yeah.
But we didn't really see much of that.
In any case, so Ivar, Ragnar, I think we're pretty
Ragnar.
the same. We're pretty much the same, you know, when it comes to characters we loved. And I don't have a favorite season. I don't know. I feel like the first few seasons went by really fast. And then the last ones, I really loved the Russ arc.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we're done with the show, I kind of want to go back and rewatch the first few seasons.
What? Yes, the Ross arc was good. I think that the York arc, when they
Yes.
went to avenge Ragnar, that was really good.
Well, that season, the whole season was great.
yeah,
Ragnar's death.
Season 4, part 2, yeah.
Yeah, that Ragnar going to England with Ivar, his death, and then the sons avenging the death. I think the whole thing was great. So that I
myself,
loved.
so one of my favorite was the attack on Paris.
Yes.
That was so cool.
I think-
When everybody tried to do their own plan and everything just went to shit, and Ryan says, "Okay, let me go at it now. Get out."
I think the
You
best.
know?
We had a lot of great strategies. I think the one that stuck with me,
Which one did you like the most?
Which-
Between all of the stories that we saw.
the sieges,
Not sieges, but
fights.
yeah, but, not the fights. Which plan did you prefer
well,
the
the
most?
strategy that stuck with me the most is the one where Ragnar pretended to be dead. Because they built this shit up, you know? They built this shit up with him pretending to actually die and everyone, you know, giving their confession. And then, you know, the whole reveal was great in Paris, I think. And also what it meant, you know, to finally breach the walls of a city that no one had breached before.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole plan was just unbelievable. So I would say this was great. Even though in history it's not him who came up with this, I think it's the strategy that stuck with me the most. Aside from that, I don't know, there are too many fights. I think, you know, personal fights and stuff, they all had a great moment. I think Lagertha and Ivar had the best, you know, I'll fight people, I'll show you how strong I am, and then people will remember me. Lagertha's last fight was great,
Yeah.
even though she was, you know, old and wounded. Ivar's last fight was great, although his best moment is in York.
Best moment was in York. His last fight was just
His strategy in
Really-
York was also pretty cool.
really amazing. I was waiting for that moment to see strategize instead of another attack for his last battle, and what I got was just really great with everything that he
Last
came through in the
episode?
forest, was just
Yeah,
so great.
pretty cool.
Uh,
The
I-
music in the show, by the way.
I think also one of the things that I really liked when they were in Paris, and the French people used this roll with the spikes against the
Oh yeah, that
Vikings.
was cool.
That
Well,
was
the whole
really
Paris
cool.
siege was great.
Yeah, that was just so
Yeah, the story in
So-
Paris was nice.
so dumb.
In any case, you know what? This show has been something.
Okay,
amazing.
I have another question for you though.
What? Okay.
If you had to categorize the death of the characters that we saw,
Oh my god.
which one?
This isn't a discussion
whi-
about
whi-
the episode now. It's
No, but it's
trivia.
It's trivia.
Which death did you
Yeah.
prefer?
Yeah, but which one touched you the most, and which one did touch you?
I cried at
Still touch
all
you,
of
but
them.
the least.
I cried at all of them. The ones that made me cry the least were probably the one that pissed me off the most was the bishop.
Yeah,
That pissed me off.
Me too.
We had many deaths. Siggy in the first few seasons was a shock, but Aslog didn't really care that much about Aslog, unfortunately. If I focus only on the main characters, I would say, Ragnar made me freak out. Since he's my favorite character, I would say Ragnar number one. His was both epic, perfect, well shot, and it stayed with us the longest. So I think I would say Ragnar's death is the most intense. We have Björn Lagertha, Ivar. Am I forgetting someone? Let's say
we
Björn
got
Lagertha, Ivar.
Harold.
Well, Harold, yeah,
Gunhild.
but no.
No.
Okay, with the main family, I would say maybe Lagertha second, with Björn Björn. I think Ivar will be last, but not because it wasn't great, just because the other two were so epic, and Lagertha was so sad, you know, considering who she was, how it happened, and it's Hvitserk who did it, you know. So I would say maybe Ragnar first, Bjorn second because of the epicness. Lagertha and Ivar a little bit behind Lagertha, okay? Not because I didn't like it. I loved Ivar's death. I just thought the other ones were a bit more epic and more emotional. And I mean, considering it happened at the end of the episode, it stayed with us. Whereas we had to just quickly move on in the story after Ivar's death. But it was epic too. So, do you agree, or do we want to switch? Sorry if it's boring, by the way. Like, I don't know if you're still listening to this.
No, I said that if I had to go through which one touched me the most, like which one did I cry most to, I'm gonna put Lagertha first.
Lagertha?
Yeah, because I cried like a maiden when that happened.
Crazy.
And when I saw her with just Ragnar at the end of the ocean.
Oh, the funerals.
But,
The funerals were something else, though. The funerals were killed me. They killed me.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that case, Lagertha would take #1 spot for the funerals.
But I think...
I'm talking about the death.
Okay, well, in that case, I think that Bjorn's death, when he was just standing on his horse, was maybe the one that touched me the most, because that was just so great. After that, I might say... yeah, I've already like... Yeah, I don't have any place to put them, you know?
Well, then don't ask the question.
I'm not able
It's
to...
a long
to
discussion
select them.
at this point. We have in store for after this a few tributes. I know a lot of you guys commented tributes that we had to watch. I did screen cap most of them. If we forget, or if the tribute you wanted us to watch didn't make it, you can always comment it again. If we have time in between episodes, we can still watch. We won't watch them all though. Like, we'll watch 2, maybe 3, like we did with Breaking Bad. And then after that, if you did not know, because I've been answering the questions, but if you did not know, we decided that
we're gonna watch The Last Kingdom.
Yes, because people were asking for it over and over and over again. So we didn't even do a poll about this. Like, we started watching the show already. We watched the first 2 episodes, and so far it's been good.
Yep.
So we're excited to start this with you guys, and hopefully you are to watch it with us. If there's a follow-up to Vikings, Valhalla, what was it called? Valhalla? We'll probably react to it too,
We're
but
gonna watch it.
we'll focus on Last Kingdom first, and then we'll maybe come back, because there's a greediness to Vikings that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
That so far I haven't found in Last Kingdom, but there's a greediness that's quite amazing in Vikings, and I kind of want to see that in Valhalla too. So that's it. Vikings is over.
No.
Hopefully you enjoyed this finale with us, guys. Did you cry when Ivar died? Probably. It was sad, but we have to say farewell to these characters. So thank you so much.
Thank you to put up with us throughout this journey.
And the breaks.
I know that it took a while.
And the burnout and all the fucking things that happen.
We finally made it to the 6 seasons. And yeah, we're gonna
stop it here.
And go on our next journey soon enough.
See you then.
Bye, guys.
Bye.